tool belts to kind of help us figure out how to do multiplication, because we know multiplication is much easier than addition. It is faster, so we want to be able to nail those down really quickly. So we're going to review 5 of those strategies. Now, with your learning partner sitting right next to you, can you guys whisper and try to figure out, I'll give you a couple seconds, figure out those 5 strategies we've been talking about the last few lessons. I know it's been a little while since the first one, but I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that. And then as they do that, I'm going to walk around the room and I'll be listening. Oh, I hear some really good talk over here. Awesome. Okay, Tim, you know, that is a math word, but it's not quite one of those strategies. Maybe think of the one with like the line and all those numbers. Try to talk about how you can use that one with your partner. So then I'd give them some more time and they'd discuss. All right, students, I hear some great math talk as I walked around the room, and I heard all of the strategies, maybe a few extra that we haven't talked about, but let's focus on those 5. So let me have Alex, can you give me one of those strategies? Oh, perfect, thank you. I'm going to make sure we all heard that, so I'm going to say it one more time. He said the number line, so that's a really good strategy. Okay, and then Sammy, she said repeated addition. We have equal groups, arrays, skip counting. Okay, so we have all 5 of the strategies. Now I'm going to get out this will be much bigger in person, and I will put it on the board somehow. So I'm going to get out our multiple strategies anchor chart that we've been working on the past few weeks. I won't leave it up here today. So we have all of these amazing tools that we can use, and we have been working on them, but today we are going to just solidify and just make sure that once we move on from today, you guys will be able to use these. So now remember, can somebody tell me how we get from this side of the column to this side? Why are they different and how are they similar? So thank you. We have Sam just said that it is the commutative property, and we know that commutative property is very important in addition and multiplication, because you can switch those 2 numbers, but we know that we cannot switch those numbers in subtraction, and when we get to division, we know we can't switch those either. But right now we are focusing on the multiplication, and so we know we can switch those. Now, we also have to be really careful with that property though, because let's say a baker is trying to fill out the order for let's say 3 people. They walk into the bakery and 3 people ask for 4 things each. And let's say the baker's like, okay, I am going to actually do it into 4 boxes of 3 things, because he just used the commutative property and switch those up. But then his customer is going to come in and they're going to ask for their 4 things, but the boxes are not going to make sense to them, so that would just not work. So you got to be careful. Sometimes the commutative property is not really used for the question that you are on. All right, so now that we have all 5 of those strategies figured out and we have our anchor chart staying up on the board, of course, so everybody can see it, I'm going to model each of these strategies for you guys so you guys can kind of remember what we've been learning about the past few lessons. Now, of course, I use soccer because I love soccer. So there are 4 soccer teams at the soccer fields. Each team brought 2 soccer balls. How many soccer balls are there at the soccer fields? So whenever we get word problems, sometimes you look at them and you're like, oh my goodness, there are so many words, I don't know what to pull out. So remember, we always kind of look for those main things. Like, we know these numbers are very important. Sorry, I'm using your dry erase board marker. So we have 4 soccer teams and we have 2 soccer balls. So then it says how many soccer balls are at this soccer field. So we have to use those 2 numbers. So we have 4 and 2. So this would theoretically stay up there, and it would probably be on a screen, not a piece of paper. So as I go through each of these multiplication strategies, so we have repeated addition, equal groups, arrays, skip counting, and number line, I want you guys to visualize what you think I'm about to do, because it's easy for you to just like kind of space out and be like, oh, I got this, no big deal. But I really want you to think about what I'm about to put on the board, and so you really can check your answers and understand what I'm doing. So first I'm doing the repeated addition. So just like our multiplication strategies, it shows us that there are 4 times 2, so we have to do the 2 4 times. So this is repeated addition. So when we use repeated addition, you just take the one number and you have to do it multiple times. So in repeated addition, it's kind of like skip counting once you get to this point, because then you have to say, okay, 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So now you're going to step one farther down, and you're going to go to equal groups. So we have our equal groups, and now we have 4 teams. Remember, we're doing soccer teams, so we have the circles represent the 4 soccer teams, and they each brought 2 balls. And those look like little buttons, but they are our equal groups. So then we can again skip count and say 2, 4, 6, 8. So that gives us the exact same answer. So then we're going to go to our arrays, So then we are going to do 4 and 2 columns. So we have 4 rows and 2 columns. Now something that I always struggled with as like a first grader is like, what is a column and what is a row? So I think of a column being like something that holds up like a house or something. So you have that column. So you're doing 4 and 2. And again, if you count that up, we got that 8. And then we're going to do, theoretically, I would have a number line already on somewhere, so I don't have to make one. So we have our number line. There we go. So then we have 4 times 2, so we start at 0, and we have to move over 4 times. So we go 2, 4, 6, 8. So we have to jump 4 times, and then we have to skip 2 numbers each time. So each of these would give us our product of 8, because remember, we have 2 factors that are multiplied together, and you get your product of 8. So that is, we have 1, 2, 3, did I skip one? Oh, I'm so sorry, Mrs. McDowell skipped one. Skip counting, I was talking about skip counting the whole time, and I totally forgot to even do it. And I almost put a 6. Here we go. So 2, 4, 6, 8. There is our skip counting rule. So we have our 5 ways to get the exact same product. So the reason I wanted to do it with the exact same 2 factors is so you can kind of see how they are similar and how they are different, and you can choose which one works best for you. It is also important to know that you are not going to use all of these for every single question you have on a problem in your life, or a problem on your test, or a problem on your worksheet. You're going to choose the best one that fits for you and that makes sense. Like, you wouldn't want to do equal groups if you're multiplying huge numbers like 25 times 47. So you just got to be careful about which one you choose to do. All right, let me erase this. Let's maybe keep that. So I hope that when we are doing that, you guys were visualizing and you guys were with me and you could understand what I was doing, and you were like, oh, I got that right. I'm feeling good about these. So can you please quietly get out your whiteboards, your markers, and like a sock or an eraser, whatever you guys have on your desk. I really like how this side of the room, they are not slamming their desks. That is really lovely. Oh my goodness, yes, this side of the room figured it out. They got it out quickly and quietly. They're not even talking over there. I really like how they are doing that really quickly and quietly. So now that we have our whiteboards, you know the drill. We are not going to doodle on them, as hard as that is. I had this huge whiteboard up here and I'm not doodling on mine. So you guys can be patient. If you guys are quiet and calm and actually are working on math this entire time, I am going to give you 2 minutes of doodle time at the end of the lesson, as long as you guys are with me this entire lesson. Okay, so now that we have our stuff ready, we have our second question. So my cat Penny, she loves her toys. And my second question says, Penny had 3 hiding spots for her cat toys. In each spot, there were 5 toys. How many toys has Penny hidden? Let's use blue. So, going back to these word problems, we're not going to be afraid of word problems because we can easily figure out what's important. Penny, although I love her, she's important to me, she's not important in this. So we have 3 hiding spots, and we have 5 toys. So those are our 2, I guess I don't do that. Those are our 2 numbers, those are our 2 multipliers, our factors. I already forgot what I said. 3 times 5. All right, so that is what we are using. So you guys have your whiteboards, and I'm going to ask you guys to work through each of these problems on your whiteboards, and then we are going to check them up here on the board as we go. So first, As long as your whiteboards are all clear. I see all clear whiteboards. I love that. Thank you. Can you please show me an repeated addition problem for 3 times 5? All right, this is going pretty quickly. I like it. Good, Eli, I see that you have that working. And if you do this really quickly, I encourage you to use the commutative property and show me what it would look like if it was 5 times 3. Very nice. You should remember you get the exact same product. All right, John, can you please come on up and show us what you got for 3 times 5 in your repeat addition? It looks very nice. Can you explain how you got that answer and why you chose to do it that way, or what that means? Very good. All right, can you please, am I like boring you?
Oh, this is good.
Okay.
You're doing great.
Can you please, I was trying to figure out what you wanted me to do, so.
There's no wrong way.
I'm just like making
Go with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make it up. All right, can you guys please show me equal groups now? Making those circles. Looks very nice, okay? And if you finish that quickly, can you please use the commutative property and show me 5 times 3? Awesome. Sammy's going to come up and show us how she did her work. Looks very good. Thank you. Can you erase that? And now we're going to use the erase. Remember, rows going sideways, columns going up and down. And you can use the commutative property once you have figured out the first answer. Okay, we're going to skip counting, the one that I forgot on the board the first time. And in skip counting, it's very similar to the other ones, because you got to remember when you have those arrays, you're going to skip count to figure out those answers. So that's just another way to do it if you don't want to draw the picture. Awesome, we're going to have the number line come on up here. And number line is very interesting because you can have it different ways. You can have it by 1s, you can have it by 2s. So just kind of be careful when you are skip counting. You got to check if that paper says that it's by counting by 2s. Don't skip too many. So make sure you check how many numbers are on that number line before you do it on a worksheet or on a test. All right, we have all 5 of the strategies up on the board. So all the students did an excellent job explaining those. I really heard some great math talk when I was walking around, made sure you guys all understood it. So now I want you to erase your boards. So thank you, Penny. That was great of her. All right, we are going to go to our last question that we're going to put on the board. We'll go pink this time. And we're going to talk about the Mayo Clinic because my husband is at the Mayo Clinic right now. He might actually be in this elevator that we're about to use. Who knows? All right, so there are 6 elevators in the lobby at the Gonda building at the Mayo Clinic. 3 doctors get in each of the elevators at the same time. How many doctors are in the elevators? I know you're looking at Ms. McDowell like, oh my goodness, I think you added like 7 extra words in this question. I know it looks a little bit intimidating, but again, there's lots of extra things in here that we don't really need to know about right now. We know there are 6 elevators. That's very important. We know that 3 doctors get into each of those elevators at the same time. So it's asking how many doctors are in those 6 elevators. So again, this is multiplication. We are going to choose which strategy you guys get to use. So you have the tool belt full of those 5 strategies. You get to choose which tool you get to pull out. As long as it's not a hammer, I'm just fine with that. So I'll give you a couple minutes to work on that. If you finish early, I kind of challenge you to do all 5 if you have the time. So see how many strategies you can get on your whiteboard while we have this time. And I'm going to walk around the room, and I'm going to see that, Eli's kind of struggling, so I'm going to sit next to him and I'm going to encourage him. Hey, I really like to use the equal groups method for this one, so I suggest you kind of draw that out because it's visual. I really like visual things. They know that I like visual things. So I'm going to encourage them. I love Gavin. Oh my goodness, you have all 5 of them. That is amazing. Why don't you use a community strategy and kind of switch those around. We have about 10 more seconds to go. Okay, friends, we did it. You accomplished it. I am very proud of you. I want you to turn to your learning buddy, and I'm going to tell you, can you please explain to your learning